Hey everyone, welcome to Make a Move with Jessie Vargas. Thank you for tuning in. I have here with me Nonito, donaire, a multi-division world champion, a living legend, and still active and looking for that next world champion. Hey Nonito, how are you doing?
I'm great, brother. I'm great, man.
Thank you for being on the show with us. It's a pleasure to have you on. I mean, you are a true legend, living legend, and still actively looking for more success for another world title. And that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start by asking, where does all that passion to want to succeed and want to continue to thrive and gain another world title in this sport?
I think it's just for me, it's just having purpose. When I wake up in the morning, if I'm not into it, there's no purpose, right? For me, knowing that I have a big something I'm looking forward, and that is becoming an undisputed champion of the world. It gives me that purpose to wake up in the morning with energy, and I think that's the passion that I have is I'm able to live my day knowing that I have something to look forward to tomorrow.
How does your family feel about that passion that you have?
Well, I'm very much supported by my wife, who is my trainer, at the same time my manager. So she's all about it, but she has the right to call whether I have it or not if I don't show up in that gym. So she's very supportive of what I have, in my career.
Now, how do you balance that out? I mean, she says, you said that she's your trainer, manager, wife, girlfriend, right? I mean, you switch up.
Why not, right?
Your girlfriend sometimes, your wife, I mean, it looks like you're, a newlywed.
Yeah, you got to. That's the thing, is you got to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you always bring it back. You know how to have good entertainment, but this is what that question is coming down to: is how do you carry that perfect balance between switching it from being at home to being at the gym to being out partying, hanging out, having those girlfriend type of nights? You know what I mean? How do you balance it all out in order for you to have a successful marriage as well? Because it has to be tough. Everybody knows, or well, at least from what I've seen, that when marriage comes together, of course, there needs to be a balance, and sometimes a husband or a wife, they want a little bit of time away from the wife, right? Hang out with the boys. But it seems like everywhere you guys are at, you're together. Right?
Always together. We've always been together.
How do you carry that?
I think that the best formula for us is we're best friends. We're good friends, and sometimes, don't get me wrong, we were not perfect couples. We fight, and we fight hard. We're both fighters. So, I think it's just being able to respect each other. I think that's the best thing, is knowing that, with your best friend, sometimes you don't, you have to talk to them properly. You have to be honest with them. And sometimes it may not be a nice thing to say, but you got to take it. And I think that's the relationship that we have that gives us the balance. Is, sometimes we go on a date night, sometimes we're with the kids, sometimes we're out there with the vacation with the kids and all that stuff. But I think ultimately that friendship and that respect for each other, to become best friends and knowing that we got each other's back, is what brings us into that balance you're talking about.
You were very fortunate. We would love to have you on a different segment of a show where we talk more about the relationship. But a lot of people want to know about, your next step, your next move in this boxing game. What's next for Nonito Donaire?
Well, my manager, which is my wife, she had aligned me to be number 2 for the WBC, and she petitioned for me to be number 1 in the WBA. And also she's talking to Chino Maidana to fight Fernando Martinez for the 115 IBF belt. So she's aligning me to every possibilities. If one falls, I can go to the next one. So she's aligning me to have those fights for next year, and and I'm ready for those.
That's fantastic. We can't wait to see you back in the ring. I assume that you and her talk thoroughly before she makes the decision on what's going to occur. So this time around, she wanted to get you ranked by the WBA number 2, right? Number one, and you're number 2 in another rank. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that must be a little bit of information between you and her for her to come over here and make that commitment or make that decision to where you will be put in a better position fight for the title.
100%. For me, I tell her, I want to fight a title next year. So she went and worked. She went in and got me to every possibility that she can get. And that's what she does. She's gonna work for it.
All right. Now, what's the killer shot? The hook or the right hand? Left hook, right hand?
Well, I've always been good with the left hook, and everybody has known me for the left hook. but I also have that right hand. But you know, you might see something different on the next fight. I always reinvent myself, and you'll see another reinvention coming for the next year.
Do you get some of that from a idol that you just mentioned you had in Bruce Lee?
You know, like we were having a conversation. I'm a philosopher, and that's why Bruce Lee was such a big part of me, a big part of my growing up, is because he was a philosopher, and I've always wondered about life. I've always wondered about everything in life, and now that I've come to become to have more wisdom, I started to appreciate what he does and what all these philosophers have done. And for me, you know, this is why, like you said, it's part of the reinvention of life, is because one thing that never changes in all aspects of life is changes. Everything changes as life goes on.
Exactly. Changes come. But when you have those ups and downs, how do you bring yourself back up? And when you're up, how do you keep yourself up there and continue to elevate?
That's becoming, you know, a lot of things right now in this life, is what people struggle on is mental health. You know, you got to be mentally strong to be able to dust things off. When it's already in the past, nothing is given and nothing is taken back. So when it's in the past, it's already in the past. It's already done. And so to move on from it is to create what you can learn from that past to rise higher for tomorrow.
Exactly. Very well said. Very well said. What's done is done, but how do you move forward from this? Right.
How we move forward is the ability to see what you have in this moment and being grateful for that. Like for me, I'm grateful for you know, I lost the last fight, but I didn't take it in. I said, you know what, I'm grateful I got my health. Right. So when you start to become more grateful in that aspect, then you can learn to move on to creating. You know, meaning that, you know what, how did I lose? Then you can dissect of instead of looking at the bad stuff, how can you start to look at the positive. You know what, this is what I did in the training. I didn't really do this, or I didn't really do that. So now you can dissect it to experience a different experience the next time around. But moving on really is mental health and having a strong mind that this life is my creation, my future is my creation. What is done in the past is done. I cannot take it back. So therefore, I choose to work for tomorrow, to live this moment, and to create tomorrow. That's how you move on in life when you have disadvantage or setback. And one thing too that I truly have, in order for you to really truly move on, you gotta appreciate those setbacks. Because if you don't appreciate those setbacks, you will never move on.
Agreed. That needs a moment of silence for a second. No, honestly, I mean, those are speaking facts, and those are speaking words that a lot of people need to hear. They need to understand. They need to listen in, you know, to someone that has that mentality, right, and that knowledge, such as you have, that you've gone through so many things, right? An abundance of success, also a couple ups and downs, you know. But 100%. At the end of the day, it's about being grateful, being thankful, understanding your current situation, your previous situation, and having a vision for the future. Right, having a vision, where you want to be, who do you want to be? It's all up to us, right? Yeah. At the end of the day, it really is. It's up to us. Who I want to be tomorrow? What do I want to do? Do I not want to do anything? Do I just want to hang out and relax at home? Well, guess what? No one comes going to come in that way, and we're not going to get anywhere. Now, do we want to be businessmen? Do we want to be world champions? Do we want to be, whether big career, right? Big character. You know what I mean? You could be who you choose to be. But I don't want to take this to a whole nother direction.
It's very true. It's very true. Yeah. Because like one thing that God has given us is the gift to think, or else we'll be like animals. When I tell you to sit, you'll sit. When I tell you to roll over, you'll roll over. We have the power to choose our path. And that's something that people need to understand, is that regardless of what people say you should do, you will always do what you want to do because you can, because you have that right.
Exactly. It's all up to us. And that's why I really enjoy speaking with Nonito on numerous occasions. He's also my friend, my very close friend. But, you know, here on Make It Move with JB, I want to also inform the fans, not only on boxing, but also on a mindset from a successful fighter such as my friend Nonito donaire, right? A former multi-division world champion that is will be and is a Hall of Fame already as it is, and will be inducted at some point when he chooses to put it down. It's not anytime soon. I can see this guy fresh. He's energetic, you know, and he honestly, he's one of the most talented guys that I know. But not only that, he's sharing that knowledge with us, and that's why I like to, kind of pick his brain, speak with him a little bit. That way he gets to share this information with us here on Make a Move, on how to succeed, on how to, stay away from any issues when it comes to mental health, right? Because, you stated yourself, and a lot of people understand it, that in this sport, in this game, but in general, right? Mental health has been an issue that has really been arising, unfortunately, and we need to stick together and inform ourselves on how we can continue to improve. So when do you want to get back in the ring? That will be another question for you.
Well, starting the year, I want to enjoy my holidays, the Christmas and the New Year's, and then coming after that, got to go back into training, got to go back into training camp, and then, go from there, and hoping probably March or April, that we can get that done.
That would be fantastic. We look forward to that. Now, I'm going to go back once again, and you stated something earlier before we started recording, when we were conversating with the entire group. You said, I am, and I heard you say a few things. I am this, I am that. And you said it to Sugar Hill. And I understood where you were coming from, right? I didn't know where that conversation could begin because I had just stepped into the conversation, but I understood what he was trying to say, and it was like an inside joke in a way that him and Sugar had.
Yeah.
But like I said,
we play around a lot.
Where did that come from?
But
why?
For me, I've always looked at it that, in vibration of what we speak, the more that you speak positive about yourself, the more that you start to create that vibration in your system, in your body, and you start to believe in it. It's something that for going back into moving on from a disadvantage, you start to forgive yourself, because there's so many things about us. When we get a setback, we usually blame ourselves. We usually hate ourselves. And for me, I always look at it as like, you know what? I am amazing. I am magnificent. I am love. I am whatever. So for me, when I say I am, I make an affirmation of my power within that I will not let circumstances take away or dictate my will and my emotion.
Okay. So I am. When you said it earlier, I love what you just said. But what were some of those things that you stated? I am. What did you want to tell Sugar Hill by that?
I don't even remember. Me and Sugar were just kind of playing around all the time, But, I don't even remember. Maybe if I see Sugar's face,
Was it
remember.
the fact that maybe one of you stated like how strong words were, because that's what you said. Words are strong. You said that's why it's I am.
Yeah.
Right? Was it basically saying words are strong and this is the way it works? I am a world champion. I will become a world champion.
I am undisputed.
How about that?
That's the thing, is you start to create things in your mind of what you want to become, and in some way, somehow, in the space and time, you create those. It's just that you gotta follow through to be able to become it.
Have a vision, work hard for it, right? And continuing to look for different ways to make it happen.
Yeah.
Right? Because many factors come into play. Now, when did you state to yourself that you were going to become a world champion? Give me the age that you had.
I never really think about it, but there was a different vibration in my heart that always felt and confident that I was going to be a world champion.
Okay.
I never really thought about it because I grew up without confidence, because I was always told I wasn't good enough, so for me, it was the will within my heart that I want to become it, right? And I felt that I never spoken it, but I've always visualized it, when I was running, I would visualize me with the belt, because when I spoke it at that time, I didn't feel the confidence that I am, and this is why I speak the I am now, is because, that's what I expound to become, but at that time, it was mostly visualization and feeling it from my authenticity in my heart that I am the champion.
Even though people wouldn't believe in you, you continued to believe in yourself, thinking that you were going to become a world champion. Maybe you didn't say it to somebody at that time, but you thought about it, right? You knew it was going to happen. You had this feeling that.
Well, now that I think about it, every time I ran up the hills, I would speak, I am champion, I am the champion, I am the champion. Even though it was a whisper, but I was focused more on the visual of me being a champion. But I would run up that hill, and every time I would tire down, I would tell myself, I'm the champion, I'm the champion, I am the champion, I am the champion. And I get to the top, and I think that's going back into the affirmation or the vibration that comes from your mouth, as well as the visualization. You start to manifest what you become.
It's a mental aspect, right? Now, give me 5 things that maybe you would suggest any young fighter, any fighter aspiring to be a world champion and aspiring to be great, or in any career. What would you suggest them? Well, right now, let's start with boxing. What would you suggest they should do? 5 things.
Believe in themselves is number 1.
Believe.
Number 2, work hard. Number 3, learn. Number 4, I would say dream big, have a goal, you know. And number 5 would be
Surround yourself with the right people.
that's one of them. Yes, that's surround yourself with a great team.
Okay.
You know, I think that's a big factor. If you surround yourself with a big team that lifts you up, that are happy for you, regardless of what situation you're into.
Surround yourself with the right people will facilitate the dream, will facilitate the route that you're going, right? But it's all based on hard work, right? Belief, prayers and belief, dreaming. Just keep that in mind. Keep moving forward, and we're here to support. If you have any questions, please comment below. Subscribe if you like this video. Please like it, and we truly appreciate your support. We appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to hearing what Nonito donaire had to say. We wanted to change this interview up a little bit to give you a little more information and knowledge on what are some of the ideas that some of the boxing greats have, such as Nonito donaire. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Make a Move with Jessie Vargas. Have a good one, y'all.